Substantial delays in the administration of justice, primarily due to the inadequate number of courts available in the region. The scarcity of the judicial infrastructure has led to a backlog of cases, leaving many individuals waiting for years to have their cases heard. Beatrice Ndanu now reports.
According to local sources, the scarcity of courts has been a long-standing issue in Western Pokot region, with only a handful of facilities serving a population of more than 800,000 residents. As a result, courtrooms are overcrowded, leading to prolonged waiting times for justice to be delivered.
West Pokot as a county has only one major court, and you know where Kapunguria is. Kapunguria is at the far edge of West Pokot County, bordering Trans Nzoia. And so that means a good part of the Wananchi are not served by courts.
Speaking after holding a session of the Court Users Committee, Bernardo Dego, Kapenguria Law Court's Chief Magistrate, expressed concern over the situation, expressing the importance of judicial processes in administering the law and protecting the rights of citizens.
This meeting is very important. This is the only way we exchange amongst ourselves to ensure that justice is being dispensed effectively to the Wananchi.
He also mentioned that they are working hard to establish a court at Kanyawa and Sigor to address delayed court proceedings, as the whole population is only depending on one court.
Very soon we expect Kanyawa Court and possibly Sigor to be inaugurated, possibly by the Honorable Chief Justice. Possibly one will be in South Pokot, South Pokot, South area, and Tapach. So those are in our plans.
Beatrice Ndanu, Lookuptv.
The spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has expressed concerns over increased cases of drugs and substance abuse in the northern part of the country. Speaking at Thika High School during the annual Education and Family Day, Pastor Dorcas said many youth in the region end up doing very unspeakable behavior as a result of their addiction to drugs. This and other stories this morning on our roundup.
Deputy President Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has expressed concerns over increased cases of drugs and substance abuse in the northern part of the country. Speaking at Thika High School during the annual Education and Family Day, Pastor Dorcas said many youths in the region end up doing very unspeakable behaviors as a result of the addiction to drugs. Moreover, she further called for collaborative efforts in saving the boy child across the country.
While the government has an obligation to do this, it must take our collective responsibility to keep drugs and alcohol away from our children. By keeping our children away from today's distractions, we are securing their future, and we must do it intentionally and deliberately. In the world we are living today, we have merchants of death, and we have barons who are out there to destroy the youthful population in Africa and Kenya. And you young men, you must be careful not to fall into the trap and the satanic agenda that will destroy you.
Elsewhere, Kenyans have been urged to plant more trees to increase the forest cover to prevent adverse effects of climate change. Speaking at Tachasis Primary School in Njoro, Environment Crusader Wanjiku Njoroge called on school heads to take a leading role in the national exercise by planting trees in the homesteads and school compounds.
Sisi kama Planet Patrons kwa yale tumeona kwa mazingira, ile mvua yenye imekuwa, mafuriko yenye imekuwa, kwa hii mwaka tulikuwa tumeplan kupanda at least 1 million trees, but now we are going to do slightly more. We are yet to sit down with my team and agree, and probably tunapanga kuongeza zaidi ya vile tunafanya. Kawaida yetu tunafanya kazi na watoto. Ukiangalia sijui kama watoto wetu wanaonekana, tunafanya kazi na watoto kwa sababu watoto ndio kesho yetu. Sasa ukiwafundisha kupanda mti leo na kuchunga, hata kesho yake environment itakuwa sawa. Tutaweza kuirudisha back to factory setting.
Finally, civil society organizations from Lake region in the country have urged the national government to implement the promises they made in the education sector, stating that some have been partially implemented. Speaking in Bungoma town after a 3-day workshop of deliberating universal periodic review in the country, Bungoma County Children's Rights Network Coordinator John Mukenya says after the scholarship and bursaries bill that is being proposed is passed, they will ensure that it will benefit deserving cases, unlike what has been happening in the country.
An issue that also the state, Kenya as a member state, committed to, that they are going to ensure that is achieved. And the country has already drafted a bill under the Ministry of Education that is proposing, it's called the Bursary and Scholarships Bill 2024.
Ebikadinyi, Lookuptv.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has affirmed that his relationship with President William Ruto is strong and that they are collaborating effectively. Speaking in Kasas constituency, was in Gishu County, Gachagua emphasized that the government remains robust and is making significant strides in fulfilling its promises to Kenyans.
Despite rumors of division in the Mount Kenya region, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the government is stable and fully committed to implementing projects and programs to improve lives of the citizens.
Nyuma ya Rais wetu William Ruto na nyuma ya ndani ya serikali ya UDA. Na mimi nataka nimwatangazie ya kwamba tumeendelea vizuri sana. Wale watu yote walikuwa nje, ni yote nimeleta pamoja na ninaendelea kuleta pamoja.
Speaking to residents of Kasas was in Gishu County, Gachagua mentioned that President William Ruto is fully dedicated to ensuring the government executes its development agenda.
Rais William Ruto ni kiongozi wa kuaminika, ni kiongozi mzalendo, ni kiongozi wa kuunganisha watu, ni kiongozi hana ukabila, ni kiongozi wa kuchunga watu wake.
Gachagua criticized some leaders from the Rift Valley region who are close to President William Ruto for spreading discord in the Mount Kenya region.
Ameniwezesha kuendelea na kazi yangu. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu iko imara, tunaendelea na kazi.
Furthermore, Gachagua urged leaders from the Rift Valley region to focus on helping President William Ruto fulfill his campaign promises, stating that politics will delay the development agenda.
Mimi na rais tunafanya kazi nzuri, tunapendana, tunapanga kazi yetu. Amenipatia kazi mingi, hata ingine inanishinda.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
That story right there essentially takes us to our first break. You know what they say? This an African proverb. Is it, or it's just a sign that where there is smoke, chances are that a fire is just about to start blowing. So this morning, we have two issues that we're going to talk about, but the major big issue that we're essentially going to talk about is one man, DP Gachagua, a man who has been in the headlines for reasons that he himself can properly explain. And he's explained and he said this. How would you know? You're not privy to this situation, so I'm not going to talk about it. Let's just keep on delivering to the people of Kenya. But then, in a subtle manner, people around him have been speaking, and for a man who says he's truthful, we have to go back to the story that we've ended with this morning, where he's saying that his relationship with the president is still intact. But then, President Ruto's close allies, I don't think so. They're telling him off. Case in point, one Caps Red member of parliament, Sudi, told him, for lack of better words, and I'm going to paraphrase, but then insert what he said, peleka ujinga mbali bana. This follows the deputy president's address in the president's backyard, where he was telling them, you have no right to plan for us our Mount Kenya politics, so shut up. So this back and forth has let the nation ask the question, is the leadership still intact? And that's what we ask about this morning. Also questions about this morning that we got to answer. Is the president lying? He said it was cheaper for him to fly that jet in his recent trip back, and he said that it's bordering pettiness. But how much does it cost through KQ from the country to New York, or whatever it is that you really essentially want to fly to and back? Are we questioning the wrong things? Once we come back right here on the Morning Drift this morning, we're going to be joined by Eric Wagalo, Joyce Momahayo, and Eric Mungai. This is promising to be a fantastic show. I don't know whether cameras can pan and see Eric Mungai just walk into the studio. I don't know whether he walked into the studio a bit late this morning, because this morning he has a lot of defense to do. He's a man who's always defended what is the position of DP Rigathi Gachagua. So this morning, let's defend a lot of things, isn't it, and talk about it. Right here at Lookuptv. My name is Simba, Elijah Charles Kenya. You can be part of the conversation right now at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. The hashtag is the Morning Drift. Once we come back, that conversation continues.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the walls and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
All right. We gotta do this. I've just realized that with Eric coming, director, can we make sure that Mr. Mungai has got a microphone on him? Thank you very much. The perks of working in the studio, I'm telling you, this morning is engineered it. But anyway, let's jump into our conversation this morning. And just before I do that, then it's proper that I introduce the lady and a gentleman who are in the studio this morning, and we're going to jump into that conversation. Regalo, how are you doing? Amazing, man. Fantastic, I can't complain.
Yeah, we had another new fantastic week for Hustler Jets.
Does it?
But Hustler Jets season 2.
But your president has told you you're becoming petty if you talk about it. In fact, your government spokesperson doesn't want to talk about that.
Yes, it's always important to talk about petty things, because those are the things that drive a whole engineers a whole story. So if you're not petty, then you should not even be here. So I'd rather be petty, because this is Hustler Jet season 2. Yes. Hustler Jet season 1, you remember, it was during the Jubilee government. Yes. Then this is Hustler Jet season 2. Yes. And we're having fun about it. And brought goodies. 6 items out of all those goodies was all on security. So we are wondering, how insecure is Kenya? You're given choppers, you're given money for police, money for the jeshi. It's all. I didn't see where we were given money for education, money for health care. Yeah, so I think we are going to have a very tough time in the security of our country.
Yes, yes.
I'm just imagining how you can only be given 90% of the cash on security issues. So maybe something to think about, that is there going to be a time Kenya will be unsafe? Are we imagining that Kenya we are going to have war? So that money to take care of police and to take care of the armed forces. I'm wondering, what are they going to do in the police, and what are they going to do in the armed forces to make it more secure than it is? I believe a nation is secure when its people are happy. Why would you not have insecurity in Finland? Finland is one of the most secure places on earth. Is because their community, the people can afford almost everything. Why are we having very low insecurity in Norway? Very low insecurity in Luxembourg, Lux that is. Why do we have a lot of insecurity, of course, in the States and some of these developed countries? Because I think there's a difference. The difference is so huge. So when you bring insecurity issues in Kenya and want to feed us with insecurity money, then could we say Hustler is going to be more hustling? So there will be going to be a lot of ngeta in town? My question. So when you look at everything that we were given, basically you'll read something, insecurity, nothing more.
Does it?
I may be petty, but I'm asking.
But you've been told, don't be petty, Buwada. What are you talking about? The cost and all the deals that I got? We're going to come back to that. Joyce, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Happy to have you around.
I thank God for all those babies who are born in May.
Yes.
Joyce being included.
Wow.
I'm wishing myself happy birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
You should have started with Joyce.
Isn't it? We should have started. I feel
so that I can also say something.
You know, in that line as well. And the short birthday.
Oh no.
I talked to one supermarket on Saturday in terms of getting a cake today, and they said they don't do fresh baking on Sunday, so I would have wrapped for Araharo to give the bite.
I know.
It would have been a fantastic way for us to start the show.
A lot. No, cake would have been so nice.
So to to all the citizens who are born in May.
Yeah.
My prayers is for greater wisdom,
That's it.
many more years ahead, many more candles to burn, and to right the world, and a lot of prosperity, wealth, and above all, good leadership in this country. The background of the US trip, Kenya has had no vaccines for 9 months down the line. At a very petty cash of about 500 million.
Yes.
Yet the Hustler jet at a cost of about 200 million. Isaac Maura said that this was a village elder who was going to look to say hi to another village elder in the US, and asked, what's the big deal about the fare used? Yet Wajiko down here does not have the bare minimums in terms of no vaccines. The security of our babies is of great concern in this country.
Yes.
We've just come out from another era of the fake fertilizer, the fake seeds. Yet 9 months down the line, we do not have the vaccines. The JSS teachers are on the streets.
Yes.
And yet the 2.4 million per hour for the Hustler jet, to them is no big concern. So this morning, even as I celebrate my birthday, I'm a worried Kenyan because we are losing focus. We do not know where we are going, and even we are headed on a worse direction. Thank you.
That's it. Guess what? As I wait for Mungai's mic to be sorted out, I mean, Bagala, I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to give Mungai a chance to also say hi to Kenyans this morning, because he has a mountain to climb this morning from the mountainside as well. So let's talk about it. Should have the president been truthful about the true cost of his trip? Because it doesn't take rocket science to prove how cheaper it would have been for him to fly KQ to and fro.
You know, we're looking at the only people being the president and his family, and very few people who are in the jet.
Yes.
Basically, I would say that jet carried only 30 to 34. We are not looking at how many media houses that the government paid for, or the accommodation, transportation, per diem to the states. We were told around 40 journalists. We are not told how many MPs went in the entourage. We are not told how many ministers left, how many governors, because I saw Waiguru, I saw Wanga, and others, Cecily and others. We are not told other officials, other government officials, being PSs, under secretaries, departmental heads that were in the entourage. Can't you see it was a bloated entourage? Can't you see we're looking at 200,000? Basically, it's more than that. And I would ask myself, we normally know private-public partnership is one thing that is encouraged in the country, where, for example, I'm not doing marketing, for example, Serena has an agreement with the government that they will hold conferences and meetings. The government can hold conferences and meetings in Serena under this agreement. So if a mkate would cost 200 shilling in Serena, the government will buy it at 150 because it's an agreement. And that makes the government use lesser cash but get the same treatment. So my question is, don't we have any airline in Kenya that has a contract with the government, both international airline and local airline, that can take care of, per se, the government? Because you understand when I say that?
Yes.
Why I would say that is, when I used to work for the government years back, there were contracts, there were hotels that would go for trainings, and some of these hotels had agreements. Grow Kenya. If we want KQ to get out of debt, then you should use KQ as much as possible. Remember the Kibaki's time. Kibaki ensured that he lowered and facilitated that when we had occasions in the country, you'll find Bomas of Kenya was almost free. And you could imagine in many years, people were going to Bomas. We had started local tourism. It was cheaper to sleep in the famous, what do you call it, Wildebeest Pass. To Serengeti, Masai Mara. We will find Kenyans who go to Masai Mara for the first time in many years. People who couldn't afford Masai Mara will go to watch wildebeest. And you could remember tourism was encouraged to the locals, and the locals embraced tourism, local tourism. The hotel that you only imagine to sleep in, people could afford. What did that do? It assisted capital in tourism by the locals injecting capital into their own product. If we want to grow KQ and yet we want to get jets from Dubai, don't you see it is selling, it is preaching, water while you're taking wine. I felt bad and hurt when the president took that chopper out from Dubai to Kenya, Kenya now to America. I mean, do you know the pride of a Kenyan flag on your aeroplane as a president, getting aboard and getting off the plane in another country? That picture alone shows Ukenya. I mean, I would even expect that the KQ colors, which are Kenyan colors, are the same colors in the presidential jet that we have. Actually, KQ color has more Kenyan color than even the presidential jet that we normally have in Kenya. So if we want to sell KQ, why couldn't we have KQ purchase such a jet and make it and let it be a KQ property via the government, that it can be used by the president? It becomes a presidential jet, but with KQ colors and under KQ. Of course, it will be under the army. Army takes care of these things, but the color looks like KQ. How do you feel when your president is using 2.4 million per hour, even when the jet is parked in some place out of the country? How do you feel when your president now addresses you and tells you, guys, don't be petty, this jet actually is cheaper than having to use KQ? Like, we really don't know how much a KQ would charge, or an international jet would charge, any other jet, for a person going to the US as an economy class. Economy is anybody, is 120 to 150. A person using business class basically is between 600 and 800. A person using first class is $1 million and above. If you are using $1 million and above, in times 34, that is 34 million coming back, so you're using 70. It wouldn't have reached even 200. I mean, this is basic mathematics. But if at all the government feels that it's doing good for us, then I ask a question to the government. Why do you want to reduce the budget in some of the very important items then, if you're not hurting the hustler? The budget for medical services in Kenya is going to reduce by 10.6 billion. Mom here, as a mother who has gotten kids, some of our age, because at her, you really understand, she took her kids for injection, for immunization. You expect her to feel bad when she looks at the medical services reduced at 10.6 billion. If at all we don't have immunizable immunization for immunizable conditions, then what will happen tomorrow? Are we not going to have the same diseases like in polio that we have been eradicating in Kenya? Are we not going to have measles back? Are we not going to have whooping cough back? Diphtheria, pertussis? Okay. 55 billion reduction in education.
Yes.
What will happen to us?
Yes.
If this is what we are going to have, 48 billion on roads.
Yes.
If this is what you're going to have, and still we are seeing pilferages and misuse of funds, what do you expect our country is going? Where are we going? Are we going to finance? How are we going to finance Social Health Insurance Act when you are reducing the money and you want us to take your Social Health Insurance Act, which says that you go for treatment for free, the government will pay. Where will the government get money if at all that money is not put in the Ministry of Health to pay the insurance for the poor Kenyans? I thought you should have increased by 10 billion and above to take care of this. And that's why this booklet is here. Because Eric is pained, he's annoyed, he's not happy. If any Kenyan doesn't know what this book means, it means Ruto wanted us to be in what we call the better. There's something, my Mr. there was in UDA, he's in UDA, sorry. There is something they were telling us better. Better Kenya, better what? Is this what they meant? Better Kenya by reducing. So where are we going to get money to take care of the deductions? What will happen is you're going to be charged more on food, what we call expenses, normal expenses, to take care of the difference. So if you tell me petrol is reduced at 25 billion, meaning buying of petrol is reduced at 25 billion, so what does that happen? Petrol prices will rise so that you don't drive your car. The person who will drive his car can manage to pay petrol, because when you buy less, supply will be less, so demand will be high. So when demand is high, the price is high. Supply demand curve. So when the demand is high, the price goes high. So who can afford is the one that will go to the gas station. So what will that happen? More taxation to us. But you see, Jet season 2 is with us.
That's it. Mugai. It's time for you to say good morning. I mean, before you even jump in, how are you doing?
No, I'm well. I don't know whether, I saw the headline, let's not talk about Kenya politics.
That's it.
That is why you decided not to ask me. So that you can only see me, but I cannot see anything. Good morning to our
Good morning. Good morning.
It's very unfortunate for me to say good morning when Tragalo has already made weighty matters. And we were in the US.
Does it?
We've just come back.
How was the trip?
Back then, historically, when you had slaves.
How was the trip?
No, the trip was nice. I mean, it's not often that you get into a private jet, master in suits, at 30,000 feet up there. I mean, it's a good thing.
That's it.
And when I say we were in the US, back then, when we had house Negroes, the house Negro always said we. Even when the master was sick, they would say, Master, we are sick. So even in this case, slavery of the 21st century, when the government is in the US, or Kenyans also,
we're in the US.
We have come back with several goodies, 5.2 billion to promote democracy and human rights. I do not know how 5.2 billion is used to
promote democracy
and human rights.
But you should be telling us. Mungai.
I do not know. I cannot tell. But I want to encourage Kenyans who are out there
to try and explain.
It's the time to register an NGO
for democracy and human rights.
For democracy and human rights. And in that NGO, make sure you have a mix of colors.
That's it.
It is good when you have many colors.
A mix of behaviors. A mix of behaviors.
No, just colors. So there's 5.2 billion.
Ragala, you got it. It was a mix of color.
Yes. There's 5.2 billion.
That's it. It was a mix of color. That's where the stress it was. That's it.
Did you notice, by the way, when the president had an interview with CNN, this time they did not ask him about LGBTQ. I do not know why. You remember they have asked the previous president
Over and over again.
over and over again. But I believe the reason they did not ask is because you remember during the dinner, the president was and the entourage and Kenyans at large were treated to a gala dinner where we had piped music, we had choirs. I think the only person who was missing from the whole thing was Benny Hinn. But otherwise, I think it went, I think it went very well.
Does it?
You know, sometimes when I look at government communication, I wonder who's controlling the levers, because the country had started discussing the goodies that we got from the US. Then all of a sudden the president tweets on comparative costs. Now the headlines have shifted. Everyone now is talking about the cost of hiring KQ vis-a-vis the cost of hiring the private jet. But for me, I would say, you know, one of the disadvantages of being poor is that when you see your neighbors succeeding, you imagine they are practicing either witchcraft or they are thieves. And
Yes.
sometimes that is the mentality of being poor. Remember, this is the head of state. And I saw somewhere online that, you know, part of the KQ flights that do long range were actually down for maintenance. So the ones that were available were actually doing the commercial flight, and there would have been a big disruption.
Yes.
So sometimes I think we work so hard to shoot ourselves in the foot as a country. Nothing would have given me joy and pleasure than to see the president disembarking from a KQ.
Thank you.
With a lion, something. I even we should have carried a lion while going to the US and disembarked with it, you know.
That's it.
But it would have given me pride and joy.
Yes.
Just to see our president disembarking with the background being our commercial airline.
Yeah.
Because the president is the #1 marketer for our country. And if it is true that some of the planes were down while the president was going to the US, I think there is call for investigation, because one of the persons.
But Eric, let me add on something. We've been aware that the president has been planning to go to the US in May from last year.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew. So we've been aware. So
one of the things I wanted to say is that part of the entourage that was in the plane was the KQ, the private plane was the KQ CEO.
CEO, yes.
The KQ CEO was part
It's
of
an
the
irony.
entourage
It's an irony.
that went to US. I would imagine that maybe part of why he was in the private jet was to get more information on how to operate a private airline and how he can improve Kenya Airways from a perspective of a private airline.
That's it.
I usually say that it would have been good for us just to enjoy, you know, just to feel good as a Kenyan when you see that plane touch down. But I think we lost that opportunity, and we are crying over spilt milk. Regardless of how many conversations we have about the private jet that's now water under the bridge,
Does it?
I do not think the Auditor General will ever say anything to that.
Does
I
it?
think that's good.
Pretty much. Guess what? This is the perfect balance then for us to start talking about the major stories this morning. And I want to read it like this, Regalo. I will start like this. Deputy President is saying the government is intact. And this is what he's saying. He has affirmed that his relationship with President William Ruto is strong and that they are collaborating effectively. He goes on to say that the government is not in a crisis, and any other person who is addressing his relationship with the President Dr. William Ruto is getting it wrong. And therefore, he's continued to make promises to Kenyans that the government is going to deliver. just remembered. I want to pick that story with Joyce this morning. All right, let's take a look at this story, come back, and then lay into that particular conversation.
Gachagua said that the government is stable and fully committed to implementing projects and programs to improve lives of the citizens.
Nyuma ya rais wetu William Ruto na nyuma ya na ndani ya serikali ya UDA. Na mimi nataka nimwatangazie ya kwamba tumeendelea vizuri sana. Wale watu yote walikuwa nje, ni yote nimeleta pamoja na ninaendelea kuleta pamoja.
Speaking to residents of Kesses was in Gishu County, Gachagua mentioned that President William Ruto is fully dedicated to ensuring the government executes its development agenda.
Rais William Ruto ni kiongozi wa kuaminika, ni kiongozi mzalendo, ni kiongozi wa kuunganisha watu, ni kiongozi hana ukabila, ni kiongozi wa kuchunga watu wake.
Gachagua criticized some leaders from the Rift Valley region who are close to President William Ruto for spreading discord in the Mount Kenya region.
Ameniwezesha kuendelea na kazi yangu. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu iko imara, tunaendelea na kazi.
Furthermore, Gachagua urged leaders from the Rift Valley region to focus on helping President William Ruto fulfill his campaign promises, stating that politics will delay the development agenda.
Mimi na rais tunafanya kazi nzuri, tunapendana, tunapanga kazi yetu. Amenipatia kazi mingi, hata ingine inanishinda.
Despite rumors of division in the Mount Kenya region, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the government is stable and fully committed to implementing projects and programs to improve lives of the citizens.
Nyuma ya rais wetu William Ruto na nyuma ya na ndani ya serikali ya UDA. Na mimi nataka nimwatangazie ya kwamba tumeendelea vizuri sana. Wale watu yote walikuwa nje, ni yote nimeleta pamoja na ninaendelea kuleta pamoja.
Speaking to residents of Kesses was in Gishu County, Gachagua mentioned that President William Ruto is fully dedicated to ensuring the government executes its development agenda.
Rais William Ruto ni kiongozi wa kuaminika, ni kiongozi mzalendo, ni kiongozi wa kuunganisha watu, ni kiongozi hana ukabila, ni kiongozi wa kuchunga watu wake.
Gachagua criticized some leaders from the Rift Valley region who are close to President William Ruto for spreading discord in the Mount Kenya region.
Ameniwezesha kuendelea na kazi yangu. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu iko imara, tunaendelea na kazi.
Furthermore, Gachagua urged leaders from the Rift Valley region to focus on helping President William Ruto fulfill his campaign promises, stating that politics will delay the development agenda.
Mimi na rais tunafanya kazi nzuri, tunapendana, tunapanga kazi yetu. Amenipatia kazi mingi, hata ingine inanishinda.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
Just what my director tells me that we have to take a tiny breather, sort out the microphone for Mr. Mungai, come back, and then jump into that particular conversation. Good morning. This is Lookuptv.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Jina yangu naitwa Cherotich.
My name is Samuel Kipsia.
Joseph Yatich. Kwa majina naitwa Susan.
Kwa majina naitwa Geoffrey Chibon.
There's a lot of drought here. People are suffering. They didn't get enough rain to get some food. They got very little food from the farms, and by now almost the food they had harvested is depleted. So they are relying on relief food.
Leo Loto Foundation imetua na imetua kwa hisani yako. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep on playing Lotto kwa sababu every time you play Lotto, you make this possible.
I'm very good understand about Lotto, and this is one of the Kenya. It is true. Okay. Thank you very much.
Asante Lotto.
Thank you. See you. See you.
We are really grateful because at least 400 families being supported with food for like a week or two.
Asante sana Lotto Foundation. Asante sana Lotto Foundation kwa kazi nzuri yenye umetufanya siku ya leo. Mungu awabariki sana.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the walls and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the burst of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
I&M is a bank that has been in the industry for now 50 years. We're celebrating our 50 years anniversary next year, and part of it was making sure that we're able to give our customers a range of products that are within the market. And so we had those Homes and Garden Expo, and we said we would like also to help our customers acquire units, houses, and also get mortgage products so that they can better their lives. So that we are able to also give the ordinary mwananchi, the Kenyan, an opportunity to own a home as part of their government agenda on both affordable housing and the housing industry. So we have quite a number of products within the market. I'll start with the first one, which is a straight purchase. This is whereby a customer is able to identify a unit that is ready-made, and he pays the developer 10% and we finance the 90% over a very long period of time, depending on the customer's ability to pay. Then we have another product called the remortgage. Remortgage is whereby a customer buys, we are able to buy a customer's mortgage from a different bank, move it to I&M, spread it over a period of time at a very good rate. We are currently running a better rate than most banks, so customers are running to us. So if there are any customers who are interested, please reach out, because we don't want to give you the rate because everybody will run in. So reach out there, we'll tell you how much it will cost you and how long we can spread it to the repayment. Then we have foreign currency mortgages. These are mortgages that are basically for customers who basically are in diaspora, or even if they're in Kenya, they are paid in foreign currency. The products are US dollar and euro. So if you're paid in euro or US dollar, we're able to give you a facility, spread it up to 10 years, up to the end of the mortgage loan. Yes. I think the other two products that we have are equity release. This is whereby you as an individual own a property and you'd like to get some top up from that particular mortgage. So we charge your property to I&M and give you a top up of up to 70 to 80% of the value of the house. So e.g., if the house is 10 million, we will basically give you roughly 7 to 8 million, depending on your ability to repay, and spread it over a period of between 10 and 15 years. So you're able to use that money to buy another property, or renovate the one you are with, or buy a piece of land and build. So we do not ask you much what you do with that money. The issue is that you make sure that every month you pay I&M the premiums for the stipulated period that you've taken the mortgage. Then the last one, which is very lucrative to Kenyans, is a construction loan. So we have customers who own pieces of land in Lolongo, Kiambu, Kajiado, and they've always been wondering, where can I basically get financing to build my dream house? So visit us as I&M. We're able to give you a construction loan up to a maximum of 20 years, depending on the ability to pay. So we finance you 80% of the construction cost, and then you are able to also look for the 20%, but we finance the 80%. During the process, we don't give you the full amount. We give you in tranches, and we're able to monitor your progress, make sure your contractor is using the right products, because at I&M we care about our customers. We don't want them to live in substandard houses. So we want to make sure the house they build is a house for prosperity, and in case they like to sell it in future, it fetches the right amount of money. Our intention is to make sure that Kenyans live in decent houses. Kenyans will leave good inheritance to their kids and their future children.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Welcome back. Let's then jump into that big conversation, Joyce, this morning. Sheila, if you can take us to the Daily Nation, and I believe you've seen that newspaper.
Yes.
And from time to time, we've kept on floating that particular conversation of the relationship between the DP and the seeming rift that is coming up in Kenya Kwanza government. Is it true that indeed things might not be so rosy between the DP and the president?
It's only that those who have eyes have refused to see. And we need the miracles that were done during the days of Jesus Christ, that the center has refused to hold. And every single minute, the center is barking adder. Why? Deliberately or otherwise, the foot soldiers of those who are allied more to the president,
yes,
have been very aggressive in terms of diminishing and marginalizing and talking ill of one son from Madeira. But they will not say it in open. They will put all manners of drama for them to belittle that great gentleman from Madeira. We've seen even members from his own background do not even go to the Rift Valley. The MP for Kiharu, for instance, in each and every function, each and every weekend, the whole of this year, he have been moving from one county to the other, gracing several occasions, gracing several minimal occasions that have no impact whatsoever. And then when we realize that the senator for Muranga also, Senator Newto, says that his region has enough men who can secure the number 2 position come 2027, we feel worried. That notwithstanding, go to the budget of 2024-2025. The office of the Deputy President have been denied some substantive budgets. Look at the issue of coffee sector. That budget has been slashed. Today, still in the Daily Nation, the tea sector again have been grossly affected. It was only some 2 weeks back when the president had a meeting with the tea growers in this country, and he created a lot of all manner of issues that needed to be dealt with. So in essence, the president had at one time asked his deputy president to deal with coffee, to deal with tea. Yet the same president goes ahead and addresses the same issues at the background of his deputy. Either he's uncomfortable with his deputy handling the docket,
yes,
and no wonder he's trying to work for or against those projects. The deputy president feels belittled because we have leaders who have no respect and no regard for their elders and for their seniors. We have one governor, the COG herself, addresses some write-up of about how people in the region should not feel threatened, and tags about a few concerned Kenyans. Again, those who are perceived to be enemies and not friends of the DP. I'm finding a lot of heat in the office of the Deputy President. But again, he's the author of this, all this journey, all this bad blood. He's the author. When he assumed office 2 weeks back, 2 weeks after he assumed office, he told members from Mount Kenya that they are welcome to Sagana. And in Sagana Road, there's going to be a lot of muchere and nanyama. Literally, it was about eating time and no development. So, in essence, he himself started up that discussion. Remember when he was being sworn in Elijah?
Yes.
He did not follow what the registrar wanted him to read. He had his own written script of what he wanted to read. And even when our visitors, we had very many visitors during that day, he took it upon himself that day to plant seed of discord to the former leadership. For any institution, when you're having the transition, you absorb that institution for any blame and you take up. Because when they were doing their campaign, they had said, we will not deal with the past. We're going to start from where where the former regime stopped, and then we move on. On that material day, he was all over. So in essence, even members of the Kenya Kwanza government have also realized we have a goof in this man.
Yes.
And perhaps members from the Kenya Kwanza government feel their chances of coming back in 2027 will be thwarted by that man from Madeira. So he himself is the author of the seed of discord. Even when Sudi harasses him back, I think we are happy. To members of the opposition, Elijah, this morning, I'm a bit happy because the seed of discord that is between now, the arise of the DP president,
yes,
and the president arise, will make sure that the finance bill 2024 will not go through. So God has his own way of doing business. That when you are busy out there harassing Kenyans, overtaxing Kenyans, over borrowing, exaggerating several figures, God has his own way of bringing down these figures. And the way of bringing down figures is by creating seeds of discord between members of the Kenya Kwanza. So even as they fight,
yes,
I'm happy they are fighting. And I pray that they fight between now and up to June so that they can now lose focus and they can center now on Wajiko. Before I conclude, Elijah.
Yes.
If you look at the budget estimates for this year again, we have wrong priorities with the Kenya Kwanza. 3 million kids benefit from the school feeding programs from the Sahel region, the marginalized areas, including my own village where I come from. Now, when you remove the porridge, literally let us bring it down now to the porridge. When you remove the ranch from that budget, you have dealt with 300 runners, 3 million runners. Some runners go there, Elijah. They have ranch boxes. The portion that you get, you eat part of that portion and you take home for your brothers and your mothers and your siblings. So when you slash that budget, the school feeding program, from the education budget, what have you done? You have affected the running for 3 million runners. Some of these kids have no business literally going to school. They either go to school because they are from the regions they come from, the Marsabit, the Maasai. They are the customary issues, the early marriages, the forced circumcision for the young girls, so much. So literally the schools are havens for these kids. They are not there for, say, even the running education because there are no facility and infrastructures there. So when you remove the school feeding program for the budget, when you remove the budget of the school feeding programs, you're literally harassing. You are literally interfering with the education system. So when they fight, when Gachagua and Ruto fight, I'm happy because at least somebody now the God is rewarding for the common 190.
Pretty much. I hope you're taking notes because it's 2 against 1 on this issue. A couple of shows we've done, you've been agreeing with Ragalo so much. Good, Ragalo, your chance then. I want us to go back. I want us to go back to the Standard this morning because they put it a bit differently, and I'm going to give it to you on exactly how they put it. Sheila, if you can, then let's look at the Standard together with our audience as well. It is talking about one man called Sudi, and we do have notes from what Sudi addressed, and we're going to look at it. It says Sudi hits back at DP and allies as allies cry foul over budget. It's a story, by the way, we want to read it, that has been covered on our page 8 to 9 of the Standard. Ragalo, you and I have spoken about this, and you've said, well, there is smoke, there's definitely fire. If you go back to what the DP was saying during his 2-week hiatus from a public scene, he said, how can you know? I mean, how can you know what's going on if you're not privy to the issue? He asked us that question. It's like, what are you guys talking about? How can you know what is going on if you're not privy to the issue? Who's giving you that information that you guys are talking about? Then you guys, what? We sat back and then we said, let's see then this information that we're not privy to come out. Couple of days later, is addressing members of parliament and leaders in general from Ruto's backyard. Well, he's telling them, stay in your constituency where you're elected. What business do you have talking about how we people in the mountain region are running our politics? That's none of your business. Now they're speaking. I'm going to ask you that question, Ragalo, then this morning. Are things okay between the big man?
History. I know UDA members don't love history. And during their campaign, they say, don't tell us history. But history will always be history. When the relationship between Kibaki and Raila was frosty, these two people kept saying, the government is intact. The NAC government is intact. We are going to deliver. At the end of the day, we started seeing carpets being shot. There were no lavatories moving with the Prime Minister. And back then he was, we knew what the government was. It was actually a half-half government. But you pursue the mistreatment from one side. When the relationship between Raila and Ruto was not okay, ODM is intact. No one is leaving. But you could hear what Isaac Sudi and how much salve was Isaac Ruto, was pulling on us and pushing to us. When the relationship between Uhuru Ruto was frosty, Ruto kept saying, we are okay, the government is okay. Mimi ni kama mshtua mkono wa rais. And everyone could see. So you don't tell us that we are okay. We can see. When a relationship between a husband and a wife is not okay, people see. But the two people will keep saying, sisi tuko sawa, watoto wanaenda shule, tunalipa fee. That is your function. You must do it. We are talking about your relationship as a husband and a wife, not how you take care of your kids, take them to school, buy them food. That one you must. So for them to tell us tunaenda kufulfill what we told you, that one you have no option. You must. You like it or not. You must. But we are talking about social relationship between you two people. And it is done. Gachagua may not be the deputy president to William Ruto in 2027. Someone else will be. Could be a woman or a gentleman. Possibilities are there. And that's why I told you, Gachagua is feeling the heat. Last week I said here, why I say could be a woman. In UDA itself, we have 5 presidential candidates. Right now, plus Gachagua 6. Cecily Mbarire want to be the deputy president. Waiguru want to be deputy president. Kihika from Nakuru want to be the deputy president. Professor, the Minister for Interior, Kindiki want to be the deputy president.
Yes.
Ndindi Nyoro want to be the deputy president.
Yes.
We already have 5, and this guy is seated. So this guy is feeling the heat that, okay, as much as these guys want to be deputy president, then where are they getting the oomph to push me while I'm on the seat? With all the trappers of power, they're pushing me.
Yes.
So they could be getting energy from somewhere else. Oh, and where is that somewhere else? Okay, could be the Rift Valley. Let me go back to another UDA party then, part of Rift Valley, and give them a dress down. Mayo, you are doing a wrong thing. That's what we say in Luo. Mayo, like when umestuka. He's doing a wrong thing. You are going to dress down another community where they have another leader. I mean, you're going to get it even rough.
Yes.
And that's why they disrespect you. And within few hours,
yes,
they give you their answer. And you will do nothing.
Yes, Wakalo, but the president is spoken about this before. Again, you and I spoke about this. When he was warning the likes of Ndindi Nyoro and any other leader within UDA was sort of pushing for that particular position to stop down and stop those politics.
He could
In fact, he called it, stop this nonsense.
Maybe the president didn't mean what he was saying. It is for the camera. You will say something. That's what I'm saying. People keep saying, we are doing well. As a government, we are intact. And the truth is, you are not. So president could be saying, I give a new example of history. Even when Moi was going to pick Uhuru, there were other presidential candidates. We had Raila, we had Kalonzo, we had Saitoti, okay? And we had Musalia Mudavadi. And they kept saying, no, we are okay. KANU ni moja, KANU itasambaratika. We'll take care of this together. Ibuka na mtu moja tutasupport. But when Uhuru came, what happened? So right now they can say the way they are together. But when we will have a deputy president, you will know what Mount Kenya can be. Then, the politics of the DP, how has he been? He's the deputy president of Kenya. He's the same guy who said that wenye hawako kwa serikali, and he called this serikali ni ya?
Shareholders.
Shareholders.
So people who are not shareholders decided to keep off. Eric Ragalo kept off and decided wacha jikarange na mafuta yake. If he wanted to be a deputy president of Kenya, He would have decided to start working with everybody. He should have started to work with Raila. Actually, he should have respected Raila, other than kumuita maneno. He should have respected Kalonzo and others. He kept abusing and kept giving words and talking harshly on the two and others who are in the opposition.
True.
So what happened? Now, can he come back to ask for Raila for help? Because right now, tell you the truth, he needs the opposition. He doesn't need any other person.
Yes.
He needs the opposition. Because for him to make any stab in this country, the people who he said are not part of the government, are not part of the shareholders, he will need them if at all he will want to become a president now.
Yes.
Because if he doesn't become a DP, what will he become? A councillor, an MCA. So he'll have to want to be a president. So he have to come to Kisii. He have to come to Simbarati. I mean, he has to go to Nyanza. He has to sit down with Orengo.
Yes.
Luo Nyanza. He has to go to Western. He has to look for Oparanya. The same people he didn't want to see is the same people he has to work with. In Mount Kenya, he has to work with even those Kabilas that are in Mount Kenya that are not Gema. He has to work with them. But they look at him as, you are pro status quo, yes. We are not part of you. He left us and told us to leave, and he's going to make sure. Mimi nimekaa hapa, list ikikuja naangalia watu wetu, mwenye si wetu tunatoa kwa list. Those were his words. So how many did he remove of us? I don't know. So we saw him as a person who doesn't want anybody who never voted. And that's why he could only work for 3 things. He could only work for milk, tea, coffee, nothing else. He didn't care about sugarcane. If it were not for Ruto, yes. Sukari angeguza. He didn't care about maize. Yeye alisema kazi yake ni vitu ngapi? 3. I'm quoting his words. Yeye mambo yake ni maziwa, kahawa na majani chai. Because the other country, he didn't care for cashew nuts. He didn't care for honey in Ukambani and Masai Land. He didn't care. He cared for those 3 things. Then akaongeza ingine ya pombe. So he only cared for people in the backyard yake, not other Kenya. Then another one, he planted discord by economic issues of Mount Kenya, which I've said. And then tukaanza kujua ni watu wa mchele na nyama. Of course, the first time walienda, tuliona vile walipanga line kwa mchele na nyama. Then, the other seed of discord that this government brought, they killed 6 issues that were very important for the development of common mwananchi. Those things were left by Kibaki. Uhuru continued with them for another 10 years, and we expected him to continue with them. 1, what we call in Kiswahili visodo kwa watoto wa shule. The young girls, who you remember, Dr. Kulea, who was my schoolmate, though one class mbele yangu.
Yes.
Kulea is from Samburu. I remember her very well. You remember the story of they would take mchanga, wanashona mchanga,
yes.
Wanaeka pale, mtoto akienda shule.
Does it?
So now, that other previous government brought pads to primary and secondary school.
Does it?
That other government brought school feeding program, which Mom has talked about. You finished it. So the Pokot kid will not go back to school. You killed maternity, free maternity to our mothers. And even lied to them that when they will get pregnant and get babies, you're going to give them free pads. Where they're still waiting. Pads for learners. Women Fund, where did it go? Uwezo Fund, where did it go? Kazi kwa vijana, that was bringing what we call money. If someone is paid 600 bob per day, that person will use that amount of money at
yes.
their local level. You killed that. Then, how will the poor person get up if they could not, they cannot have money down there? Then, the banks, the interest rates went high. Getting loan is as hard as Moi's time. And I'll be honest, more is time because it was hard to get a loan. Kibaki came and it was easier to get a loan because interest rates went down and it was easy for people to get loans. Right now, for you to get loan, the amount of scrutiny they do to give you even $1 million a loan, my friend, it's not as easy as it was. So now the poor person cannot even run money down here. Money is left for the people on top, whereas we are being told it was bottom up. Now actually it is up, not even coming in the middle. It is up.
Yes.
So my question is,
yes,
as they are fighting, who is happy? As they are fighting, do you know who is happy? It is Ruto. I told you that. Because all these people are fighting, but everyone is saying, mimi niko nyuma ya rais. Sisi tunapeleka rais mbele. So wewe unapigana watu yako nyuma ya rais. Wewe unapigana watu yake nyuma ya rais. So all of you mpigane and continue divide and rule, but ni wote kura zenu ni nyuma ya rais. So that's what Mount Kenya is for you. They will divide 6-7 times, but kura ni nyuma ya
Mr. Mungai, and he's smiling. But guess what? You have all the time. You're going to open, we go for a break, we come back, because for you this morning, it's going to be a stage-by-stage process in terms of responding to what Joyce said and what Regalo said. But I will start like this, because even after we come back, we should be playing for you those clips for Oscar Sudi essentially addressing the Deputy President. Let me start with the headline for the Daily Nation. Mr. Mungai, they're saying, will the center hold? And they're saying that even as the Deputy President keeps on saying that his relationship with the boss is good, it is telling the President's allies off. Like, you are the problem. Let's respond to that, Mr. Mungai. Will the center hold?
Thank you. Having sat in this chair this morning, I know how the Deputy President must be feeling when you have an opportunity and a chance, and you start feeling like an Arsenal fan. You know,
Arsenal fans are just chilling.
When I sit here and I can watch how you've let Regalo and Joyce disappear with a thing, well, I'm just seated here. There is no way I can be convinced that the same way the likes of Sudi are trying to sabotage the Deputy President is the way I am being sabotaged this morning. But having said that, there is a man who is stuck in a big river, and he's wailing, please help, please help. So now the villagers from Mount Kenya have ran to the scene, and they have found that the man is not drowning, but he's wading in the river. And you see, no one gets into a river if they do not know how to swim, unless someone has thrown them inside. So when we, the people of Mount Kenya, ran to the river, we found that there were clothes by the river bank. So we sort of wondered, you know, if this man, someone had pushed him to the river, they would have pushed him in with clothes. So it means the man must have taken time to remove his clothes and get into the river. But anyway, because we, the people of Mount Kenya, are gracious people, we ran to his aid. So when we are standing at the bank, we are asking the man, what is wrong? The man says, it is those people. So we asked, which people are these? And what should we do to them? He says, it is those people who cannot stay in their place. They want to come and hurt me. We asked, which people? These people from Rift Valley, they cannot keep to their places. They want to hurt me. So we asked the man in the river, what should we do to help you? Because we, the people of Mount Kenya, have come. He says, I want you to help me fight those people. The people of Mount Kenya say, but we can't engage in that fight because, one, we have, as far as we are concerned, we have outnumbered those people. Secondly, as far as we are concerned, we know you are a mighty warrior yourself. What are you busy doing in the river, hiding from those people? So we ask the man kindly, please come out of the river. Maybe we can help you fight these people. But now our man can't come out of the river. Why? Because remember, his clothes are by the bank.
So what is he doing now?
Now we, the people of Mount Kenya, have to contend with the man continuing screaming because he can't get out.
He's screaming how to get out.
Yes, he's screaming out.
But his clothes are there.
But his clothes.
And the people are surrounding.
No, the grandchildren, the young men, the young boys. You know,
and the young boys there.
And you cannot leave they will not come out.
So despite our wanting to help this man,
why can't you go so that he comes out there?
But you see, we can't go because he called us in the first place. He needs our help.
So he might go out tonight. He has to get out at night.
And that is the dilemma our big man finds himself in.
Okay, hold on. Once we come back, it's not done because it's not spoken so much this morning. So, let's go for a break.
That is evil. Lord will not forgive you.
Atumesema ameingia kwa River Jordan.
Chania River. And he's being surrounded by all villagers, including the small boys. And the clothes are on the river bank.
Hey, huo ni mchokozi.
Let me tell these guys to
So it's only his head.
Yes, let me tell them to carry it and put it online.
Tell them to us.
Yeah.
Jamaa jo, mazena inflation jo na hii mafuta venye imepanda jo, mmefika at the right time. Mimi nakwambia wachezaji saa hizi tu ni kutoka hapa, kuingia mtaa, kutengeneza sima, wadishifiti, alafu tutane grau.
Leo tuko katika center inaitwa Kimta, ambapo hapa ni sehemu ambapo wanafunzi ama vijana wadogo wanakuja hapa kusoma, wanakuja hapa kukuza talanta yao, na wanakuja pia kujiinua kielimu.
Now through Kimta and the groups like Tatua Tatu, through pads, wasichana wataendelea kuendea shule vizuri, at the same time watakuwa healthy.
Yote ni kwa hisani ya Tatua Foundation. Na wakati wote ambapo unacheza Tatua Tatu, kumbuka kwamba 25% inakuja kusaidia masuala kama haya. Kwa hivyo endelea kucheza Tatua Tatu.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the walls and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazi.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
So we're still with Mr. Mungai. So picking on his analogy, so in one way or another, maybe at night, just like Ragalo said, the man came out of the river. But then he found himself at the backyard of these enemies that Mr. Mungai was saying that he wanted help to fight. And he fought them. So the enemies have been speaking back after that fight. The first one to speak, Oscar Sudi, was come out to say, you can't tell us, I was told to use this phrase this morning when I'm doing this presentation, you can't tell us nothing. And so, this is Oscar Sudi. Let's watch.
Na mimi nataka niambie viongozi, sisi tuheshimiane. Rais akiwa pale na Ibwange akiwa pale, tuheshimiane. Na pia tunaomba rais na naibu wake pia mtuheshimu. Hatuwezi kukubali mtu anakuja anataka kufinya viongozi wadogo. Sisi tumesema 2022, 2027 viongozi hao ni wawili. 2032 Mungu ndiye anajua. Nani amekwambia watu tutafika 2032? Situombe Mungu kwanza tufike 2032 ndio tuvuke. Lakini mambo ya kusema ati wewe huyu kiongozi ya rais, ati sasa mimi nianze kupigana na huyu MCA ama huyu msichana alikuwa anaomba kero mimi. Ati sasa akitaka kutoa kichwa ni gonge. Inafaa huyu msichana akitaka mafuta mimi ndio napea yeye mafuta na yeye tembea. Sio kuombe. Na tuache vitisho. Mambo ya kutisha watu jamani. Na kwanza mimi usinitishe. Mimi nimefanya mambo mengi, yani mimi na hata kananga hivi na mjaka tu Mungu asante. Kwanza kama hata ile serikali ya Uhuru haibu ndio mtu mwingine hawezi ndio. Na wakati tu nikimwenda na mtu mrani neteleli agora 30 years makatu. Amma kita tu chuma ngene ita. Okiani. Kabuluge. Agora ile. Kurani kumbi msimu wa jibu jeleni sijui galia wewe tafadhali yani heshima tupeane heshima ama na chini ya heshima ongea heshima kitu na mimi kitu heshima lakini kwa kitu nyingi na ichen namnare lakini kimusudi forget it mkimu wale kabisa na naenda tafuta ile kitu mwana usinyale kitu toze bana tuende ami akiami
That's it. So, Mr. Mungai, Ragala will be coming to you, and Joyce. So, how did the man come out of the river? Because in some way, he found himself fighting the enemies after you guys could not help.
You know, the beauty about nature is that nightfall still comes. And many things can be done under the cover of darkness. And having said that is to say that in one way or another, the cover of darkness tends to hide a lot of things. But let me say this. I admire the Deputy President a lot. One, it's not easy to be a first-time MP, then jump from a first-time MP to become the Deputy President of Kenya. I mean, it's no mean feat. It requires a bit of genius.
Yes.
It requires a bit of bravery. It requires a bit of courage, and that you must give it to the Deputy President. But you might know, Simba, that being number one is easy. Staying number one is hard, because potentially many people covet the seat that you have. Now, as a crafty and as an astute and shrewd politician, you must do either of two things. One, you can sit back and wait for the battle to come to you. Or you can start your own battles which you can control. Now, the challenge with the Deputy President is that he assumed that people love him because he is Rigiji and people like him, and therefore he will not face any challenges.
Yes.
And so what he did, and this is where sometimes the lack of experience comes in, is that he relaxed and sat back. But he forgot the seat that he has today. Even though it's called Deputy President, there were many that held that seat previously in the name of vice presidents. If you look today at the demeanor of Musalia Mudavadi, look at the demeanor of Kalonzo Musyoka, you can tell there is a metal that makes, and also of course the president, you can tell that there is a metal that makes a vice president or a deputy president. Now, one of the challenges I have with the deputy president is that he is now being pitted against Sudi. Now, in politics, optics is everything.
Yes.
And one of the things I believe the deputy president must do,
yes,
and from an honest, when you love someone, you critique them positively. He must go back to his office and relook at the composition of his staff. Because a majority of his staff are from Madeira. That is one thing he must, I'm not saying he should fire them, I'm saying he should relook into the composition of his advisors. He needs to get people who are experienced and not necessarily people that he likes, but people who can create loyalty. Because in politics, you don't have to like people. That's one of the challenges, by the way, with the deputy president. If he doesn't like you, he treats you very coldly. But the reality of politics, the people you work with sometimes, you don't have to like them, but they have to be loyal to you. That's the bare minimum. Loyalty is the bare minimum. Now, when he gets the proper advisors, they will tell him that you don't have yourself to go on a public podium and address Sudi. No, that's not your work. You need lieutenants, including the level of MCAs. Now what you would have done, it is MCAs who would have been responding to Sudi. Not even MPs. Just get MCAs. Why? So that Sudi can start now busy wasting his time attacking MCAs who are irrelevant and inconsequential in matters hierarchy is concerned. But the spat between the deputy president and Sudi, it only works for Sudi. Because then it elevates Sudi. People start seeing Sudi from a level of a deputy president, which is not what you want in politics. You want them to be beneath you. So people now, in fact, what the deputy president should be doing is fomenting a crisis between him and Mudavadi. Because then that way, and Kindiki, now people in Mount Kenya are starting to sit back and saying, why is Kindiki quiet? Why is, Professor Kindiki is behaving very stately. Why is Musalia quiet? Why is Musalia quiet? Now, when that conversation happens, politicians say that any publicity is good publicity. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But publicity at the expense of denigrating your stature is not good publicity.
Yes.
What would have happened is that it's okay for Sudi to attack the deputy president or people from Rift Valley politicians. It's okay for them to attack the deputy president. But it is not okay for the deputy president to respond to them. So he should have kept his cool. In fact, he should have been...
I want to support him, though it is his time.
Yes.
When Ruto was fought, he never attacked the former Minister for Internal Security.
Yes.
And actually, even when his accounts were closed and what have you happened, and even they reduced his security,
yes,
he never spoke about it. Actually, he would go to church and say, mimi ni mkono wa rais, chochote atasema nitafuata, kama security wamekubali niende na 5, hiyo 5 ndio nitatumia.
Yes.
Even when they gave him APs.
Even when he gave him APs, when he gave him APs, he said nothing wrong about the GSUs. He said, sasa the state wameamua, wale wengine wakapumzika, wakaniletea hawa, na tumeamua kukunywa chai pamoja. I mean, you know, when they bring you a rag, use it to wipe whatever you can wipe. When deputy is being brought a rag, he should know how to use the rag profitably. When he starts talking with Sudi, he becomes Sudi. He becomes Sudi, level of Sudi. So now he's not even the level of a governor or a senator, he's the level of an MP.
So, guy, just before I give it over to Joyce, you still have 3 minutes left for your time. Every time you've sat here, you've said, I mean, he's the kingpin of our region. And so you'd expect that when his position is under threat, that there will be so many people who will be coming to his defense.
Yes.
Why is it that he's gone to this war by himself? You'd have expected that so many people from the region would have said, this war, we will fight it for him.
It's what I said. It's not that there aren't people fighting for the deputy president, but the hierarchy of news.
Yes.
I'm not a journalist, but I imagine that if the president spoke today and I spoke, you would substantively go for what the president says as opposed to what I said. The challenge is the deputy president is putting himself in a position where he becomes the newsmaker for the wrong reasons. Because in that whole thing, Mandago came to his aid. There are Mount Kenya politicians, including the women rep for Kirinyaga, who came to his aid, and there are many others that came to his aid. But that's not my point. The point is, for those politicians to come to the limelight, the deputy president must step back. So what the deputy president would have done is to go to Rift Valley for the Harambes, and he would have said, I have been sent by the president. You people are doing a good job. I have heard a few things being said, but don't worry, that's the nature of life. That is the nature of politics. But I want to ask us to work together. I want to reiterate that we will continue working with the younger generation to mentor them and to make sure that we do not leave a vacuum in leadership. Now you see that in itself is not newsworthy.
Yes.
It is not newsworthy. I mean, what do you have to cut there and give us news? There is nothing.
Absolutely.
So what will the media do? They will go to the person that directly attacked Sudi. So that guy will make news. But when you have poor advisors,
yes.
When Raila was under attack, you will get reply from Kajwang during Kibaki's time, not Raila. Otieno Kajwang will handle you perpendicularly. You remember the way he used to say it.
Even Kibaki had Mount Kenya map.
When Raila had an attack in the second government after Kibaki, Uhuru's government, you will get a reply from the second Kajwang, Kajwang from Nairobi, and Babu. Right now, you handle Raila, you will get Sifuna. So Raila will not reply you.
Pretty much.
Why is deputy replying? He has Gakuya, who is now the chair of UDA Nairobi, Why is Gakuya quiet? Gakuya should be handling such things.
Does it?
Gakuya should be handling Sudi.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. I mean,
tackling him.
Does it? You know, every time we speak to Mungai about these particular issues, it seems to have the solution for majority of the problems that.
But hawampi kazi. The problem me, I wonder. Now the deputy ameajiri watu wawili. Ameenda akachukua former MP Nyeri Town.
Yes.
Na sasa anatunyang'anya madamu wetu mzuri Pauline Njoroge. Anawapatia kazi ati advisors wake. And I have this guy here. He has been advising this government. I mean, if there is this flowers, bro. If there is a good government spokesman in Kenya,
it's Eric Mugai.
It's Eric Mugai. Mi hata nashangaa wengine wanapewa kazi ya nini?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it. So what we're going to do is this.
Yes.
That is going to comment, but I hope, you know, a proper analysis of what needs to be done all the time is given by Mugai. And Mugai is changed his strategy every time we talk to him on the show. He's become the voice of reason. And I don't know why he's doing that. We need to be careful.
Are you saying I was unreasonable?
No, you well, the opposite.
I don't expect that.
The opposite is not necessarily unreasonable.
Yes.
Anyway, here's the thing. We're going to continue with those notes because Oscar Sudi didn't stop there, Joyce. Before I ask you that question, we're going to continue then getting those notes. It was an 18-minute rant about the deputy president. So what we did is that we picked the important parts. All right, let's jump in to the next round for Oscar Sudi addressing the deputy president directly. From then, Joyce will also come in and weigh in on this particular issue. Let's take a look.
Tuko na viongozi wawili wanatuongoza. Tuko na William Ruto na Gachagua. Hii maneno mengine ya fitina hii tunaona hapa, sijui nani anafanya nini. Na William Ruto, hakuna mtu anabebea William Ruto akili. William Ruto ako na akili yake. Hakuna siku Sudi anazarubia William Ruto akili. Tafadhali tuheshimiane na tufanye kazi. Na tuache kuunganisha wananchi. Na tuache kuunganisha watu na ukabila. Hii maneno ya ukabila sijui tutafanya nini. Kuna watu kutoka kwa ukabila jioni wamerudi kwa ukabila. Sasa unaona mtu anazunguka anasema hajataka kwa kipi kwa Kenya. Na akifika hapa nyumbani Kenya wanao. Wewe tinde nao. Sijui ngira nao. Sasa tatawala bila hapa.
That's it. So, the question that I was told to put to you this morning is that we've seen two men speak. It would either classified as recklessness or that is the feeling of your close friend. So Joyce, let's look at it like this. That Oscar Sudi, the man, when he speaks, who is he speaking for? Because every other time, there are questions that we ask as the media. I mean, when there are state functions that you would not expect Oscar Sudi to attend, is right there with the president. Every time we've seen the president in a function, guess who's next to him? Oscar Sudi. To the point that he is the one who clears the people supposed to talk with the president and shake the president's hand. Every time we've had a national security issue, even in the latest event where we lost our police boss, guess who was there getting the briefing of the state of the nation? Oscar Sudi. So I'm going to go back to that clip again where he says, you are not the brain for William Ruto. William Ruto has his brain. So don't come here and tell us what you think the president is going to say about this issue. He has his brain. If he feels he's going the wrong direction, he'll address it. Don't come here addressing us about that. We do not care. Is that the voice of the president through Oscar Sudi? I mean, if your friend speaks about that, who 90% of your time we see you're with him, should we assume that that's the true feeling of the president on this particular issue?
From where I come from my village, which is next to Mugai's village,
yes,
we said that a dog will not bark until the dog is directed or asked by the owner.
Does it?
So if the eye contact between the dog and the owner tells you to keep quiet, you know, you do not need to be told to keep quiet. The owner will also look at you harshly and tell you, then that sign will tell you to back. I don't need to go back a bit. The background defense team of our DP. I want to pick from where Eric Mugai stopped. Who forms his background defense team? Because Mugai just brought in a huge narrative and a knowledge of the events. Who forms? Apparently. It is on record, it's only one governor from the Mount Kenya. And that governor started way back last year, not even this year. Remember one time there was an issue at the UD offices in Nyeri, and he said there is no cup of tea. That was the governor who brought out that war. Raija, some petty wars becomes offensive in essence. Because when a whole governor said that the UD office, Nyeri County, do not have funds to buy a cup of tea, it literally tells you there are no structures in the UD offices in Nyeri.
Yes.
And even by humanitarian squares, you can always volunteer to get a cup of tea for the visitors who come to the Nyeri office, because Nyeri office is a big office. It has the support of the number 2 in this country. So his defense team is disoriented, is weak, and has no structure. The second in command in the defense team is the Gachagua, the MP for Embakasi, I think West.
West, yes, West.
What are his strategies, Gachagua? He has 0 strategies. So in essence, this war that you are planning to fight, and you do not have a strategy in it, then you're going to lose and lose it well. So here, I'm not good in the language that he used.
Yes.
I'm sure Ragaro understood that language becomes he borders that tribe. But Sudi has said one statement, Ruto ako na akili zake, hakuna mtu anabebea Ruto akili. That is a statement. Ruto knows the game plan that is playing. Mugai has told us, you do not need to come out fighting. Said your emissaries, said your allies, said your underdogs to fight for you. So in essence, number 1 has sent out an all-out war, using all the strategies in the book and out of the book to deal with one reckless speaker who has only one chairman of the fighting committee, 1 treasurer and 1 secretary. He really do not have strategy to fight back. When he goes again to Wasengiz yesterday, to me, I would also free it back and see it was another way of engaging us this week, because in essence, for now 3 weeks running, every week, DP will have a new strategy, and I'm sure even next week, he'll still have another strategy. So that this week, we'll discuss about DP the whole of this week. All the media houses, all the dairies will discuss about this war. Last week, it was the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 sharing. It created a lot of it, even on this room. So I think DP again is also fighting another strategy. He does not have the funds, he does not have the finances to address the strategy, but he has the controversy. So he is fighting this war using now controversies. This week he has picked the issue of the political background. You know, there are no political manners on political definitions of your constituency.
Yes.
I can always wake up to go to Kiabu and discuss, assist my friend Mugai on a medical camp. So in essence, Gachagua telling us to stay in our background. Of course, it's bad manners, but I think he's talking now the fire of controversy. William Ruto has refused to address issues raised in the boardroom by the deputy president. So what does the deputy president do? He takes out now those wars to the public domain using different strategies, and that's where the fire is starting.
Tadzan.
Yes.
Bagalo.
Yes.
When Oscar Sudi says the president has got his brains, do not come here to tell us about what you think the president would say. If he's got a problem, let him come here and address us. We would say and do whatever we wish. Goes on to say, this right here is tribalism. Whatever it is that you're addressing here is tribalism. So same question that I put to Joyce this morning. is that the president speaking? And by the way, should I remind you that almost the same tone that Sudi is speaking with is the same tone that the government spokesperson used when he was asked about the cost of the president's trip to the USA. So when you see the close confidence of the president speak like they do, abuse people, ask them these questions, and dress them down, where do they get this power, this confidence from? Can we assume that that's the president speaking? And if so, would you therefore, Ragalo Eric, on this show, state that indeed things are rock bottom between the president and the deputy president?
The president and the deputy president are not friends. They are both politicians. They were brought together by interest, not friendship.
Yes.
The interest that brought them together was to win the seat.
Yes.
Not sharing the cake. Sharing the cake was on the whims of the president. And the deputy said in a church, sisi hatukuandikiana, tulijua we ni muungwana, we ni mtu ya kwenda kanisa. Sisi hatukuandikiana sababu tunajua wewe utatugawia yetu. That clip is all over social media. When Raila held the first organization with Moi, waliandikiana. When Raila had the second organization with Kibaki, waliandikiana. When things went wrong, it came out and everyone was talking about the agreement. When everyone has an agreement, and even Uhuru Ruto was an agreement, and you could hear people saying tulikulipa bilioni kadhaa utusupport. So where tulikulipa bwana, wacha kutupigia kelele, you know. So this one said we just came for free. So that's it. So the issue is here. When Jesus was walking, there was a lady, I'm not giving a long story like my friend, who touched the garment, who touched the hem of the garment, and the hem healed the lady.
Yes.
Was it the hem, or the power in the man who was wearing the cloth, or the faith in the woman who was touching the hem? Who healed who? Those are three things. So, my question is very simple. Is it the wearer of the cloth that is losing power to his juniors? Or is it the juniors holding on the hem of the owner of the power? Or it's the belief that now that we are in power, I also have power from whatever, the faith. It can be those three things. And those three things is what makes Sudi powerful. It could be the faith that now it is us in power, so I am powerful. It could be that Sudi is holding into the president's hem. Or it could be the president oozing power through even his own clothings. So that is why Sudi is powerful. That is so obvious that what Sudi says is actually what it is. We had a group of people, we used to call them Muthaiga group. Then there was a group that meets Uhuru that was called the Meza group, the people on the table, because they would meet as they do their own thing. Okay? So the Muthaiga group, Wakina Joe Wanjoi, you remember? Joe Wanjoi was not even elected, nowhere. Actually, he was the VC Nairobi University, I think. But he used power, so much power than even an MP. That is why I'm telling you the hem power, the hem thing. So that Muthaiga group would decide even the policies. And the policies were given to MPs and others. And the few MPs who are now near there, Wakina Chris Murungaru. Matari Kiriri was kicked out by Mama, if you remember the story.
Yes.
So that is what's happening today. There is a group of MPs or even governors who have the ear of the president. And almost what they say is actually what the president feels. They can read the feeling of the president. And actually they even know where the country is going. You may not know. So when the DP told us, munajua aje, kwani unakuanga hapo? Maybe anakuanga hapo, but he doesn't have the feeling of the president. He can be there and they discuss, kesho tuteka sukari vijiko mbili kwa chai.
Yes.
But when you leave, the owners of the power now would say, iyo chai atuteka sukari. You've left with sukari iteko kwa chai, but there are the people who know chai haiteko kwa sukari. So you go asking, wa mnajuaje na mimi najua. Kumbe them they know than you. So sometimes you think you know, kumbe you don't know. What I would tell the DP, and I would advise him as someone who's been a member and a follower of Baba Raila Odinga from 2002, 22 years, and I've read the body language of Mzee, I would tell you now we are shifting. I can tell, by the way, I can tell. Having been with Baba for long, I can tell when we need to move, when we need to stop, when we need to sit down, when we need to wake up. You can see. Very easy. The people who used to be the Moi, they could also tell after staying longer with him. You could tell that you, deputy, you've been there for only 5 years as an MP.
Yes.
Then now you are now the deputy president. Brother, do this from deep in my heart.
Yes.
Create friendship from all over the country. Bring Raila as a friend. Bring Kalonzo as a friend. Bring Kabogo as a friend. Bring everyone as a friend to you. Talk to them. Because very soon, and not far, it is coming like a tornado.
Does it?
And it's not going to stop in the coast like the other one.
Does it?
This one, if you're not careful, the whirlwind will pick you, drop you in the Indian Ocean. And now it will be true. You will be in the water, asking people to help you, and the clothes were ripped by tornado. They are hanging on a coconut tree. I want you to come out of that water. It will be very hard. And I'm asking him again and again, look for people you can be with. The president is already gotten the 5 I told you. Deputy, the president has Cecily Mbarire. The president has Waiguru, Kihika, Professor Kindiki, and Dindi from your region. And is still fishing for more. The president is now speaking and talking to Baba. You are still making noise that Baba aende nyumbani ni mzee. You are in trouble. The president has taken Mudavadi. The president is speaking to Kalonzo. Because you said you're going to close the gate, no one will enter. Kalonzo entered and they had tea. Raila has entered, and even for a dinner, there's a time there was a dinner in State House. You're still saying you're taking care of the gate to block people. The president has gone a long way to even reach the coast. You've not even reached anyone. You are still taking care of the gate in State House to block people. Can you stop blocking this gate? Those people you're blocking, they will hit you na mawe during campaigns. Not at mawe literally, but they will hit you and tell you, you blocked us. They will also block you from their yards. Bring everyone, because very soon, na nakuambia haitapiga blinking, hata mimi utanihitaji.
Before you move to Eric,
yes.
Raija.
Does it?
Character is like pregnancy. This is what the English will say. Because with the time it will show. This week, we will see 2 tribalists that were never defined but have come out now clearly. One of them is Oscar Sudi. That he can take his 10 minutes addressing press and public using his mother tongue. If that is not tribalism, which he himself is saying, wacha kutuletea ukabila. You know, he's saying, do not usituletee ukabila. He talks for 10 minutes addressing Kenyans. Now, if that is not tribalism, my brother Eric can tell me. Gachagua is another guy who is another tribalist of the highest order. We have 2 awards this week of tribalist. When he goes back to the mountain areas, when he is hit, when he is rock bottom, what does your mountain region got to do with the emotions?
Yes.
So the fueling over the tribal issues is coming out from 2 characters. The last one is Like my brother Lagaro said, Gachagua has never been Frederick. In his books, the word being Fred has never existed. Now go to the crafters of now the dictionary and the Google and the Wikipedia, Gachagua. Ask them to define for you the word Freds, and now orient the word Freds, and now start dealing with the friendship. Not war. Because to him, being a son of the Mau Mau, his father taught him how to fight. His father never taught him how to make friends with everybody. So he needs now to come out to his village. Now come back to Nairobi, where he's dealing with 42 tribes, and now deal to manage his emotions. That's three. It is also a wake-up call now.
Yes.
To other leaders who want to make sure that they want to be the gatekeepers, that you want to control the corridor of your politically interested person. Politics, they've said, is all about interest. When you secure one seat, Kaidre, make sure that you orient yourself with other faces that will come on the board. Thank you.
That's and I'll be coming back to you. Good. And I'm going to take this into account. And Sheila, if you can, take us back to the standard, because it looks as if there's a war that has been fronted to the side that is seemingly with President Dr. William Ruto on this. If we are going to assume that all this that is being spoken by the likes of Oscar Sudi essentially is not by their own volition, that they are well backed to present this war, that is a battle line. We do know very well the finance bill is coming up. And there are feelings within the Kenya Kwanza government from the mountain region. Somebody was telling me yesterday might be around 80% of the region that are saying, hold on, why are we feeling defranchised? Both in development, resources, and leadership as well. So they've grouped around DP Rigathi Gachagua. And they're saying, we're going to show you that indeed you can't do that to us, that leadership has to be a one way. Now, if you read on page 8 and 9 of the Standard this morning, Sudi was essentially hitting back heavily on DP Rigathi Gachagua because he knows very well, and is a member of parliament, that indeed there are plans by a section of Kenya Kwanza members of parliament to teach the president a lesson by drowning the finance bill 2024-2025. Mungai, guess who's not spoken about it? DP Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, if this is your government, the hustler government, and you are riding on the finance bill 2024-2025, any other person, even within your camp, who speaks about dropping that finance bill, you will tell them, this is not something that I would entertain as the deputy president. Is this, I don't want to use the word arsenal this morning, is this the machine gun that DP Rigathi Gachagua is carrying? He knows very well time is coming, and I'll show you that when it comes to government decisions, whether you guys like it or not, I am quite integral.
Let me two things. One, let me finish off with the debate between Sudi and the deputy president. And my final advice to the deputy president is that, you know, when you're bathing in the river and someone comes and takes your clothes, really, you don't chase after them. Because to the onlooker, the mad person is actually the naked one chasing the one with the clothes. So my advice to the deputy president is sometimes when someone runs away with your clothes, you have to keep cool and calm. Just keep your head above the water as you seek for help. But this business of getting out of the water and chasing the person, it only looks good on the person who's running away with your clothes, because if that person goes screaming that a madman is chasing him, clearly when people look at both of you, they think the naked one is the madman. That's my final advice to the deputy president. Coming over to the issue of Mount Kenya, allies, and the finance bill. Mount Kenya is at a paradox. We have put ourselves in a position where we even ourselves do not understand what exactly we are doing. Why? if you look at the structure of this government, look at the Attorney General, he's from Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Look at the head of security, Interior, Mount Kenya.
Yes.
CS Finance, Mount Kenya. Deputy President, Mount Kenya. Majority Leader in the Assembly, Mount Kenya. Chief Justice, Mount. If you look at the composition of this government, a majority of the government officials are from Mount Kenya. Now, the paradox is that we are in government, but we are in opposition. So now I'm wondering who is defending us, because it now appears to be very clear that the opposition leader in government,
yes,
on behalf of Mount Kenya, is the deputy president. It also appears that government officials,
yes,
in government,
yes,
are the government coming from Mount Kenya. So we have a mix of opposition and government at the same time. So the question the people of Mount Kenya are asking themselves, whom do we trust? Whom do we believe? The finance bill is coming up. The author and architect of the budget and appropriations bill and finance, both of them are from Mount Kenya. Those are the architects. The house within which those bills emanate is from Treasury, which is led by a man from Mount Kenya. The institution that is supposed to collect taxes from Kenyans after those bills passed, the chairman is from Mount Kenya. Okay? Now, I am left to wonder. We are in government. The people at the steering wheel are from Mount Kenya, but there are people seated at the back saying we are headed in the right direction. We are headed in the wrong direction. But the driver is saying, no, I have been through this way before. Stop complaining. Sit back. Put your safety belt. The ride might be bumpy, but at least I know where I'm taking this car.
Is it?
But clearly, the backbenchers can tell, it's like this road is not taking us the right direction. But the person seated with the driver there, Ishongwa, and just behind the driver, Ndindi Nyoro and Kuria
from Mount
Kenya, and the finance minister, and the central bank governor, and the KRA chair.
You've forgotten one. And the economy advisor.
Yes, and the economic advisor who is in the middle seat.
And the AG himself.
So the economic advisor who is in the middle seat keeps standing at the back and telling the backbenchers, shut up. We are special advisors. Then he's turning to the front and telling the team, don't worry. In that budget, put 1 billion. So what is happening with this bus is that the deputy president has alighted.
Also, did he jump out? Did he jump out?
No, he jumped out. He was not given authority to ride.
He wasn't told to go. I mean, the driver didn't stop until.
No, the deputy president is asking.
He jumped off a moving bus.
He's asking the locals. Wait a minute. Where did the bus go?
He fell off from a moving bus, and he did not see the direction the bus went. So he's asking the locals.
But how so? Because he keeps on saying, I'm still in the bus. Where is he? In the bus?
No, he has already jumped out. The thing is, in his jumping out, he has the logbook. So when he says he's a shareholder, he's actually right because
the logbook
and the spare key.
The logbook and the spare key are in his pocket. But the challenge is, The bus is headed. So I want to tell the people of Mount Kenya, because they are the ones in the bus, the deputy president has come out. And you know, the beauty about the driver and the passengers, they have been told by the insurance, in case of anything, they should not admit liability.
That's it. Actually, bro, I want to add on what he's saying.
Yes, let me point you to the right direction. Just jump onto that. Excuse me. Do you think that, because now they know they've got this arsenal that is called the finance bill.
Yes.
That majority of them, they come from a vast region in terms of the constituencies in Mount Kenya region.
All of them, not even majority. There is no any other, let's be Kabila today.
Yes.
There is no other person other than Mount Kenya. In the finance, you will not find an Omondi there. They are all from Mount Kenya. Plus the advisor himself in the Ministry of Finance, the guy who advises on it, is from Mount Kenya.
Do you think that there's a route that the deputy president should use just to stamp his authority in this bus? Because he's got the logbook according to Mungai.
I want to advise the deputy president. You cannot run away with the finance bill. It is your project. Actually, it is UDA project. The finance bill, and something Kenyans have not realized. In this government, we swapped two people who have worked longest together. We swapped Thuge, who was, before Thuge came to be governor Central Bank, was in the Ministry of Finance. And that, before then, Njuguna Ndung'u was actually the governor Central Bank. So what happened? Njuguna Ndung'u got out of the governance of Central Bank, came to finance. Thuge came from this side, went to this side. These two people have managed this economy for the longest. Actually, they were there during Kibaki's time, Uhuru's time, and now Ruto's time. What is so synonymous about them? Both of them have been employees of Bretton Woods institution. One of them has served 20 years as an employee of World Bank. The other one has served as an advisor of economy in Bretton Woods institution. Remember those, there are three institutions, World Bank, IMF, and forgetting the other one.
Yes.
These two, we are not going to get out of the hook. As we say it, that our budget is tailored into IMF story. These are the carriers of IMF and the World Bank story. They have worked there for longest.
Yes.
The economic advisor, we know him very well, as having been worked for Bretton Woods institution also. So what are we advising?
Yes.
What are we advising? And what are we? We are telling Kenyans, tunaenda kufuatana na IMF, hakuna kutoka. So what Gachagua is anajishtua hapa ati anataka kutoka kwa bus. Hii bus ni yao. We are going to pay.
Yes.
Eric is ready to pay anything they want. If they want to reduce all the parastatal to be one, to merge them together as one, I am ready. Mi hakuna kitu nakata. Kenye tu naumia tu na sitaki kuona is that, and I said, if Gachagua is running away from this, so Gachagua should tell me, since now he's saying, and now that he's saying it was there all over,
yes,
that they will not be supporting the finance bill. So does Gachagua want to tell me he's refusing free maternity that they initiated? So he was not part of it. Does Gachagua want to tell me school feeding program that has been removed, he's not part of it? So it was someone else's doing. Does Gachagua want to tell me that the pads were being given to primary and secondary school kids that were free? We know where the story started, and I gave out about my friend Dr. Kulea. He's not part of it. Does he want to tell me that kazi kwa vijana, he was never part of it? So he's running away from responsibility, just as the way Ruto ran away from responsibility from Jubilee government and said it was nusu mkate. So does he want to say now, because Raila is looking for a job in the AU and is seen now around power, akisalimiana na kila mtu, Oleshogun, Museveni, Ruto, so now you want to put it, or ama itakuwa it is too early to say it. They will want now to say Raila ameenda kapeleka uchawi yake ameroga Ruto. Could that be another story that they could be bringing? So my issue here is, we are not running out of it. And now that we have IMF, former IMF workers, and basically the way it works, yes. So we are going to be in this route for a 10-year. Because already he said, yes, Ruto is governing us for 10 years, then he's already talked of 2032. That which Sudi was telling him, bwana wewe, who knows hata 2027 itakuwa namna gani, huu umeenda mpaka 32. So me, I want to give him I say that by that time we should be on this route for forever. My sister here said that Gachagua has been a Mau. No, Gachagua was not. I just want to correct that one. Gachagua was not a son or of Mau. His grandfather, Chief Nderi Gachagua wa Ng'ombe, died on 25th October 1952, having been assassinated by Mau Mau. For what? For snitching on Mau Mau. That is the same fate that got Warohio from Kiambu, Chief Warohio, and the same Luka Kahagara. So he was not Mau Mau. He's never been Mau Mau. He's never been a kid of Mau Mau. Gachagua was normal Kenyan like me. So when we want to put him Mau to look good, he was not. So he is from the family of Chief Wangombe Gachagua. And we know Wangombe Gachagua actually was senior Chief Wangombe Gachagua from that area, and we know what happened. So we cannot equate him with Mau.
Joyce, I'm going to give you 2 minutes as well. Question being, should Rigathi Gachagua and his allies use the finance bill as an arsenal to stamp the authority in this government? Because if they say no, chances are that that particular bill may not essentially see the light of the day. That the opposition, should they gather together and join forces in the Mount Kenya region, then this bill will not see the light of the day.
Defiance is a strategy, yes, of not complying. And in terms of compliance, we do not have a definition of how not to comply. You can always define your own strategy in terms of not to define.
Yes.
Go through is another term that is used by professionals in terms of addressing a need. There's a need in the market to deal with the issue of the finance bill. And Parliament, you've seen this Parliament, the National Assembly have been, somebody branded it as a house of shame.
Yes.
Because this is where corruption and bribery takes the highest claim. And members from Mount Kenya have realized that it's another avenue of twisting the leadership of that institution so that they can meet and they can need, and what they desire can be met. So in terms of defiance, I pray that Mount Kenya leaders twist the leadership of the National Assembly. So to me, I'm supporting. Let it be twisted so that it can deliver, because in essence, Elijah, when they twisted, when there is defiance and when this goes through, Mount Kenya region will benefit from the strategies of this government. If we do not act on the metal when it's very hot, then that metal cannot be made into what you need. So when that metal is very, very, very hot, this week and next week, I'm praying that members from the Mount Kenya defy, go through, turn down that motion so that Wajiko can benefit. Because to me, the objective is Wajiko.
That's
when these members of the National Assembly, when they went there, it was an issue of the UDA government, and they did not have any other agenda. To them, Elijah, the agenda of being in the National Assembly is all about what you can benefit from them. It's not about the oversight roles. It is not about representation. It is all about personal representation.
Yes.
And if in that personal representation is where Wadiko is going to benefit, Raja, I'm in for it. Let them defy. That's three. The Deputy President is looking for any strategy to bring in a lot of heat. If he's listening to this show, he will hear the son of Siaya Ragaro saying he was not a Mau Mau. And I'm telling you, Deputy President will call Ragaro and ask him, can you define whether it's true or not? I was not a son of Mau Mau.
Yes.
We leave it to the son of Madeira and his conscience to direct him on the right path. Whether he was a son of a general, a Mau Mau or other, let him act towards the interest of this region, not his personal interest.
Pretty much. Here's the thing, Mangai, you have essentially 1 minute, 30 seconds. And your question will be a summary to whatever it is that we've been talking about this morning. To what end? To what end is Rigathi Gachagua's fight? To what end?
I think I want to believe and imagine that the Deputy President is applying the rule book that the President used, perhaps to maintain his position for 2027.
So.
But I would want to say that even though the monkeys are the same and the forest have changed, sometimes when the forest change, you need to decipher the kind of trees that you found yourselves in. There are some trees that require a bit of swinging. There are some trees that are slippery. You apply your wisdom based on the terrain. And I believe the speed at which we are going, we have really not assessed correctly the terrain that we find ourselves in. It's important that we sit back and not relax and enjoy, but figure out where we are and where we need to go. Lastly is to wish, of course, the viewer a very good week. And always remember Eric Mongai, you know in Kiambu they call me Moturi Wanduthi. He's always the voice of reason. And you can take my word for it and take it to the bank.
That's it. Pretty much. Whew, just a couple of comments that I've seen. Sir Charles Murithi, who's saying, well, my prayer is that the bus finally stops and waits for Rigathi Gachagua. Saying that his son needs to beat it. All right, I'll continue with these reactions as well. Titus this morning was saying, we, kwani hiyo basi haina brakes, ingoja Rigathi Gachagua. All right, finally then, Namutiso who's saying, sawa sawa. Naona ni kama basi ya 2027 imetoka taya moja. All right, finally then, I do have Sir Kenny Regan who's saying the finance bill should not be a weapon. It should be discussed correctly, appropriately, and voted on appropriately, because indeed it is a weapon for the prosperity of Kenyans as opposed to a weapon for political prowess. Thank you very much, Sir Kenny Regan. I also do have one here. You've not told me what your name is, but I can see it. Who's saying, well, the show today was okay. Thank you very much. Just next time, you can actually then state your name. So we're going to end the show like this then. There is Joyce who had to address the nation. Atuambie keki itakuwa siku gani, so that we can finally then come back and eat that particular cake. This is where we are. Joyce today is celebrating her birthday, so from the entire of Lookuptv's fraternity, I will speak for them. It is a happy birthday to you, Joyce. We hope that indeed you live a fulfilled life and everything that it is that you wish for in life comes true. So I'm going to give Ragalo and Mungai a chance to say happy birthday before we finally step out. Now, nation address. Now, lazima ikuwe ile short. Mungai, here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joyce. Happy birthday to you.
Woo!
All right.
May she live to be toothless.
That's it.
Thank you.
God bless us so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
And to everybody having a birthday this month of May.
That's it.
Happy birthday, guys.
That's what it
They are
is.
blessed
The Lord
to share
bless
her
you
birthday
all.
with Joyce.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
They
thank
are
you.
blessed.
You
isn't
also
it?
in May?
Yeah.
No. I'm
I'm
saying
actually-
those ones
yeah.
that you wished
yeah,
for
yeah.
me. They are lucky to share a birthday with
That's
them.
it.
Thank you
That's
so
it.
much.
That's
Push
it.
this to your social media
Has to be. Has to be.
so that I can celebrate in style.
That's it. So now we're going to give you 45 seconds to finally address the nation, not on political matters, but on personal life matters.
And
for
tell us
people
how old
celebrate.
she is.
That's it.
When I'm
Joyce,
seated or standing.
That's it. No, but actually, you can come because of your mic. You got to be seated. All right, I've been told.
Around this moment, I thank God. I thank all Kenyans who have wished me a happy birthday. The late Samuel Wamagio and the late Daktari and Waboy, I want to thank them. They gave me right. In my church, the Church of Catholic, have given me spiritual nourishment. I feel proud to be old as I am, wiser, better, and healthier.
Pretty much.
Anybody else in the month of May, I wish them happy birthday and may God bless you.
That's
Thank you so much. To the Lookuptv, you're always my family.
Thank you very much. Always happy to have you as a family. So for every other person who joined us this morning, thank you very much. At Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. My name is Samba Elijah Charles. We'll meet you tomorrow for another edition. Goodbye. Woof.
We value your feedback and welcome